It's 2:15 in the morning. You've checked the clock 5 times already. Tomorrow is one of those days you actually need to be sharp. A big meeting, an early flight, a job that starts at 7. So you close your eyes, you take a breath, and you tell yourself, okay, sleep now. And that's exactly when your brain decides to replay an embarrassing thing you said in ninth grade. The harder you try to fall asleep, the more awake you somehow become. Your pillow feels wrong. Your blanket feels wrong. Even the silence feels loud. If any of that sounds a little too familiar, I want you to know something right away. You are far from alone. We've all been handed the same tired advice. Put your phone away. Drink some warm milk. Count sheep. And look, none of that is bad advice exactly. It's just incomplete. Because if those 3 tricks actually solved insomnia for everyone, there wouldn't be millions of people staring at their ceilings tonight. According to the CDC, roughly 1 in 3 American adults isn't getting enough sleep on a regular basis. That's not a small problem tucked away in the corner of public health. That's a third of the room you're sitting in right now. So instead of repeating the same advice you've already heard 100 times, I want to show you something different today. 7 sleep tricks that, on paper, sound almost ridiculous. A few of them ask you to do the exact opposite of what your instincts are screaming at you to do. A couple of them have quietly gone viral, racking up millions of views from people who swear their sleep changed overnight. And one of them was originally designed to help soldiers fall asleep in combat situations, under real physical danger, in under 2 minutes. Stick around for that last one. It might be the strangest technique on this entire list, and also, weirdly, the simplest. Let's start with the one that breaks every rule you think you know about sleep. Here's the idea. Instead of trying to fall asleep, you try your absolute hardest to stay awake. I know how that sounds. You're lying in bed at midnight, exhausted, and the advice is, don't sleep. But there's real psychology behind this, and it's called paradoxical intention. A lot of people who struggle with insomnia don't actually have a body that can't sleep. They have a brain that's terrified of not sleeping. Every night becomes a performance review. I have to fall asleep in the next 10 minutes or tomorrow is ruined. That pressure, that internal deadline, keeps your nervous system on high alert, which is the opposite of what sleep requires. So when you flip the instruction, when you lie there with your eyes open and genuinely try to resist sleep, something strange happens. The pressure disappears. There's nothing left to fail at. And ironically, your brain relaxes enough that sleep just shows up on its own, uninvited. Strange enough for you? Because the next one gets even stranger. Picture this: taping your own mouth shut before bed. It sounds like something out of a horror movie, not a wellness routine. But here's why people are actually doing it. Breathing through your nose instead of your mouth can help keep your airway more humidified, may reduce a dry mouth in the morning, and for some people, appears to reduce snoring. Mouth taping became a huge trend online for exactly that reason. Now, I want to be honest with you here, because this is where a lot of content gets it wrong. Some people genuinely report sleeping better after trying this. But it isn't for everyone, and it isn't something to jump into blindly. If you have any trouble breathing through your nose, if you suspect you might have sleep apnea, or if you have any other breathing condition, this is a conversation to have with a healthcare professional first, not a TikTok trend to try tonight without thinking it through. If taping your mouth shut isn't exactly your vibe, don't worry. The next trick only requires you to touch your thermostat. Most of us associate sleep with warmth, cozy blankets, a warm room, that snug feeling. But your body actually works against that instinct. Right before you fall asleep, your core body temperature naturally starts to drop. It's part of your internal signal that says, it's time, and a room that's too warm can fight against that process. A lot of sleep researchers point to around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 18 degrees Celsius, as a comfortable target for many adults, though of course, personal preference varies from person to person. The point isn't to make yourself uncomfortable. The point is that you're not fighting your biology anymore. You're finally working with it. But temperature isn't the only thing that can confuse your brain at night. Sometimes, the bigger obstacle is your own thoughts. This next one is called cognitive shuffling, and it might be the strangest one on the list, simply because it goes against everything we're taught about relaxing the mind. Most advice tells you to clear your thoughts completely. This trick tells you to do the opposite. Deliberately think of random, unrelated words. Dog, cloud, banana, rocket, pillow. Each word creates a tiny, harmless mental image, one that has nothing to do with your actual life or your actual stress. And that randomness is exactly the point. As your brain naturally drifts toward sleep, your thoughts become fragmented and disconnected anyway. Cognitive shuffling is essentially mimicking that process on purpose. It gently interrupts those anxious thought loops, the ones where your brain keeps circling back to tomorrow's to-do list, without demanding intense concentration to do it. Have you ever noticed how your mind seems to sabotage you the second your head hits the pillow? That's exactly the loop this trick is designed to break. If your mind is still racing even after that, here's a strange one. The answer might actually be in your feet. I'm talking about wearing socks to bed. A lot of people hate this idea, and I get it. It sounds uncomfortable. But there's a clear physiological reason it works for some people. When your feet are warm, your blood vessels widen, a process called vasodilation, which actually helps your body release heat more efficiently through your extremities. And remember what we said earlier about your core temperature needing to drop before sleep. Warming up one small part of your body, your feet, can actually help cool down the rest of you. It sounds backwards. It kind of is backwards. And that's exactly why it works. Ready for the internet's favorite bedtime drink? Because this next one has taken over social media. People online have been drinking something called the Sleepy Girl mocktail, mostly tart cherry juice, sometimes mixed with a splash of magnesium supplement or sparkling water. Tart cherries naturally contain melatonin, along with other compounds that may support healthy sleep patterns. Some small studies suggest tart cherry juice may improve sleep quality for certain people. Now, I have to be honest with you. This isn't a miracle drink, and anyone telling you it cures insomnia overnight isn't giving you the full picture. The research here is still developing. Think of it less like a guaranteed solution and more like one small tool you can add to your routine, alongside everything else we've talked about. And finally, here's the technique that has genuinely fascinated millions of people because of where it came from. It's called the military sleep method, and the idea behind it is almost hard to believe. Falling asleep almost anywhere, even under real stress, in about 2 minutes. The method centers on progressive muscle relaxation combined with visualization. You start by relaxing your forehead, then your eyes, then your jaw. You drop your shoulders down, away from your ears. You relax your arms, one at a time, letting them go completely heavy. You slow your breathing, deliberately, deeply. And then, once your body has physically let go, you imagine a peaceful scene, lying in a canoe on a calm lake, or resting in a dark, quiet room, whatever feels calming to you. The entire philosophy behind it is simple. Release the physical tension first, and the mental tension tends to follow. Now, I won't tell you it works in exactly 2 minutes every single time. That's not realistic for everyone. And like any technique on this list, it takes some practice before it clicks. But many people genuinely find it to be one of the most effective tools they've ever tried. Here's the interesting thing about sleep, something I think about a lot. Sometimes the harder we chase it, the further away it seems to run from us. And the solution isn't always trying harder. Sometimes the solution is giving your brain something completely different to focus on. A random word, a warm sock, a colder room, a moment of letting go instead of gripping tighter. You don't need to try all 7 of these tonight. Honestly, please don't overwhelm yourself trying to do that. Just pick one. Maybe it's the temperature trick, because it's the easiest. Maybe it's the paradoxical intention one, because it sounds the most interesting to you. Whichever one you choose, your brain and your future self, the one waking up tomorrow morning, might genuinely thank you for it. So tell me, which of these 7 tricks surprised you the most? And what's the strangest sleep tip you've ever personally tried that actually worked for you? Drop it in the comments. I really do read them, and I'd love to know your experience. If this video helped you even a little, go ahead and save it right now. Because the next time you're lying there at 2 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, you'll know exactly where to find it. And if you know someone who's always complaining they can't sleep, send this their way. They might discover a trick tonight they've never even heard of.